Hello everybody, this is Nicholas here again, one of the developers on the ChemGymRL library, and I'm here to take you through a quick walkthrough / quick start guide for the library. So in essence, this video is meant to serve as a bit of an overview and a gentle introduction to the use of the lab and how some of the different features within the lab connect within each other, and sort of as a brief introduction before you go ahead and take a look at some of our more in-depth tutorials on each of the individual lab environments. Each of their own individual lab environments. And in addition, there's also a more detailed tutorial on the actual management and operation of the lab manager / lab environment. All of this is available on our website on the documentation tab, and that's ChemGymRL.com. There'll be a link in the description. All right, and let's go ahead and get this started. So as a brief overview of sort of the lab environment, it consists of 4 benches. Those 4 benches being the reaction bench, the extraction bench, and the distillation bench. And in addition, sort of the outlier of the benches, the characterization bench. And in essence, the purpose of these benches is obviously the reaction bench is sort of meant to synthesize certain materials. The extraction bench is then meant to try and isolate a desired material from other materials, and the distillation bench is meant as a way to purify it. And in between that, the characterization bench is meant for the agent in order to try and discern the difference between what is contained in different vessels. So in essence, as an agent goes through this environment, it will be trying to isolate for a certain material and identify it using these benches and the characterization bench. And so in order to do so, let's just go ahead and give a brief view of some of the features that an agent might use. And in this environment, this is more or less used, this is set up at the moment as a way to use pre-trained models. There are ways where you can train your own models, and we will have tutorials showing you how to do that. As we've created a gym environment using OpenAI's gym framework for each of the reaction, extraction, and distillation benches in order to train your own models. And then this is meant as a way to kind of mesh those together into a fully formed system to create this chemical. So let's go ahead and get this started. So we're first going to go ahead and take a look at what vessels we have available. So as we can see right now, nothing was listed, so there are no vessels currently loaded in the environment. Let's go ahead and create a new vessel. So as we can see here, we have now just created a vessel. So if we go ahead and list the vessels, we will see that there is now a new vessel included there. So now the next step is to go ahead and load the reaction bench. So this will allow us to try and synthesize a material based on what reaction we choose. So now let's go ahead to the reaction bench. As you can see here, in its current state, we are shipping the build with 3 different reactions. And for now, we're just going to go ahead and use the Wurtz reaction. In this case, the Wurtz reaction is a reaction designed around trying to optimize the synthesis of dodecane. So let's go ahead and use Wurtz reaction V1. We're going to pass in the empty vessel we just created, and we are going to use a random agent. Okay, and we're done running through that. So if we now go ahead and we take a look at our vessels, we'll see that we now have a new vessel, which includes all of the materials that are associated with the Wurtz reaction. Okay, sweet. So now that we have this vessel where we have synthesized some dodecane, we want to try and extract that from all these other useless materials. And in order to do so, we are going to go ahead and load the extraction environment. So the extraction environment, and then we're going to go ahead and load the verts extraction, and we're going to go ahead and pass it the same vessel as before. And again, using a random agent. Okay, and so now, since this is a random agent, we haven't truly extracted the dodecane, but hypothetically, let's say that we have, and let's take a look at our vessels. So now, thanks to the Wirtz reaction, we now have 3 vessels. Ideally, at some point, each of these would contain different materials, but again, since it's a random agent, it's performed a random set of actions, and we've ended up with only 1 vessel containing materials. Okay, so now that that's all loaded and done with, let's go ahead and take a look and distill our dodecane solution. So we're going to go ahead and load the distillation bench, load the distillation V0, and we are going to pass it vessel 0, which contains all of our materials. And again, using a random agent. Okay. And now that that's done, we can go ahead and list all of our vessels. So as we can see here, vessel number 3, or well, vessel index 2, vessel number 3, contains all of our materials now. So now one might wonder to themselves, how exactly would an agent be able to discern between what is in each vessel without us explicitly telling them? And this is an important question because, as in real life, we don't know exactly what is in a beaker, and we have to use observation and other tools in order to characterize what might be in the vessel, and from that information, try and make a good guess at what's in it. And in this case, we aim to use the characterization bench in order to do that. So in the future, the characterization bench will be populated with potentially more analysis techniques. But for us, the vast majority of our analysis that we do involves the use of the absorption spectra. And in this case, that's what we aim to do and use for most of our tools. So let's go ahead and then load the characterization bench. So characterization, we're going to go ahead and pass vessel 2. And there's no agent since there's no action to be performed. There's no optimization in this case to be performed. We're simply just performing analysis, so no agent. Okay, and now up here, well, this looks like a bunch of numbers, and in reality, it is just a bunch of numbers. This represents the absorption spectra of our vessel. So the various peaks and frequency, rather not frequencies, but wavelengths of light that have been absorbed by each of the materials in this vessel. Obviously, the agent would be getting this in a much more manageable form. And as I said before, this is as a purely demonstrative of how the environment overarches together. So now let's go ahead and look at our available vessels. So as we see here, after the action, our vessel was returned to us. And with that, we're done. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope that you found this tutorial helpful and useful in looking over the general overview of how our whole system kind of works together. Again, there are more detailed tutorials on each of the individual benches and the actual lab manager and lab environment on our website. We hope that you enjoyed and you found this useful. Until next time, this is Nicholas. Take care. Goodbye.